The rain wouldn't stop that night. It drummed against the windows like it was mocking me. I stood by the door, holding 2 takeout boxes, thinking she'd smile when she saw me early. Instead, I saw her suitcase by the couch. Going somewhere? I asked. Lena turned slowly, her eyes red but dry. I was going to tell you tomorrow. Tell me what? My voice cracked, half laughing. You're leaving again? Another business trip? She looked away. No, I'm leaving you, Ethan. For a second, everything froze. The clock, the rain, even my breath. You're kidding, I'm not. She folded her arms. I can't do this anymore. I need more than this small apartment and your ... dreams. I dropped the food on the table. You mean the company I built from scratch? The one you said you believed in. I did. Her tone softened. But belief doesn't pay bills. Damien, I laughed bitterly. There it is, Damien. So it's him. She flinched. Don't say it like that. Like what? I stepped closer. Like you replaced me with your boss. He's not just my boss, she said quietly. He sees my worth, and I didn't. You tried, she whispered, but you're too focused on ideas. Damien lives in results. He knows how to win. Win. I almost shouted, You think this is winning? Walking away from everything we built? She grabbed her suitcase handle. You've built something, Ethan, but not with me. Not really. That's not true. My throat burned. Every late night, every line of code, every dream, I've built it for us. Her eyes softened for a heartbeat, then hardened again. You built it for yourself. I was just watching you chase ghosts. I laughed again, hollow. So what is this, Lena? Some midlife crisis at 27? Or did the fancy suits and luxury cars blind you? She stayed silent. Say something. I snapped. She finally spoke, voice trembling. I love him. The words hit like a bullet. I didn't even feel angry, just empty. You love him, I repeated. She nodded. He makes me feel secure. Secure, I whispered. Money can't hold you when you cry, Lena. But it can stop the reasons I cry. The air between us broke. I couldn't breathe. I looked at her suitcase again, then at her trembling hands. Was it ever real? Us. Yes, she said, barely audible. But love isn't enough anymore. So what is enough? A penthouse. A man who can buy you a new car every month? You don't understand, she said, wiping her eyes. I've spent years waiting for your success. I can't wait anymore. I took a deep breath, trying not to scream. You told me patience was love. I lied, she whispered. Patience is fear of being left behind? I stared at her, feeling the pieces of me crumble one by one. And you're not afraid anymore? She shook her head. Not with him. The rain grew louder, filling the silence between us. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. When did it start? I asked quietly. She hesitated. After that investor meeting. You remember? You said you didn't want to compromise your vision. Damien said he admired that, ... then offered me a position in his firm. I nodded slowly. And you took it. And him. It wasn't supposed to happen this way, she whispered. But it did. I smiled bitterly. So that's how dreams die, not with failure, but with betrayal. Right. Don't say that. Why not? You've already rewritten the story. She turned away, shoulders shaking. I didn't mean to hurt you. I said softly. But you did. For a moment I thought she'd drop the suitcase and run into my arms like the old days. But she didn't. She just looked at me one last time and said, Goodbye, Ethan. The door closed behind her. I stood there, staring at the space she left behind. My hands trembled, not from anger, but from the sudden quiet. The rain outside sounded like static in my head. I walked to the window, watching her figure fade into the blur of streetlights. Every step she took pulled something out of me, until nothing was left. I whispered to the empty room. You'll see what you gave up. The reflection in the glass didn't look like me anymore. My eyes were colder, sharper, like something had been burned out. I'll make something of myself, I muttered. And next time you see me, I'll be someone you can't afford to lose. The rain kept falling, washing the world clean. But no storm could wash her out of me. Not yet. Ethan, you need to sign it. Mr. Grant's voice cut through the silence of the boardroom. Papers lay in front of me, the contract that killed everything I'd built. My fingers hovered over the pen. I built this company, I said quietly. Every line of code, every sleepless night. You think I can just hand it over? It's not a choice anymore, he replied. Vale Corporation owns controlling shares. Damien made the final offer. Of course he did, I muttered. He's always been good at taking what isn't his, Grant sighed. At least you'll get compensated. I snapped. You think money replaces years of my life? His eyes softened. You can start again, Ethan. I looked down at the signature line. My name was already printed there, waiting for me to bury it. Start again, I repeated under my breath. That's what she said too. Grant frowned. Lena, I didn't answer. My hand shook as I picked up the pen. The sound of it scratching paper felt like betrayal itself. When it was over, Grant collected the documents quietly. I'm sorry, son. Oh. I nodded without looking at him. So am I. He left, and the room went still. I stared at the empty seats where my team once sat. The laughter, the late-night pizza boxes. The tired jokes about bugs and deadlines, it all felt like someone else's memories. Pressed my palms against the table and whispered, You win, Damien. But my voice sounded hollow, even to me. That night, I went back to my apartment. Boxes everywhere. I hadn't unpacked since she left. I opened my laptop out of habit. The login screen blinked, mocking me. I typed in my old password, her name plus the year we met. Access denied. I tried again. Same result, Damien had already changed it. I laughed quietly, shaking my head. You even took that from me. The walls felt smaller, the air heavier. My reflection on the black screen stared back like a stranger. A knock came at the door. I ignored it. Then another. Ethan, open up. It was Maya's voice. I hesitated before unlocking it. She walked in, soaked from the rain. Why didn't you pick up my calls? I didn't want witnesses, I muttered. She looked at the mess. God, Ethan, you're really doing this alone? I've been alone for a while now. She sat on the couch, pulling off her wet jacket. I heard about the sale. Damien played dirty. It's what he does, I said. And I taught him how. Her eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Every system he owns now? I built its backbone. I showed Lena how to use the modules, how to secure the framework. She probably handed it to him on a silver plate. Maya's jaw tightened. You don't know that? Oh, I do. I leaned back. She didn't just take my heart, Maya. She took my work. She was quiet for a moment. So what now? I stared at the dark window. Now, I disappear. It's not you, she said softly. You don't quit. I met her eyes. I already did. She stood. No, you lost something, but that's not the same as quitting. Don't give them the ending they want. Endings don't matter, I said. People remember who wins. Maya stepped closer, then win differently. Her words lingered, but I couldn't answer. She left the key on the table. Call me when you're ready to start again. When the door closed, I let the silence swallow me. Hours passed. I sat there, staring at the wall, replaying every laugh, every promise Lena made. Ethan, someday your ideas will change the world, she used to say. And I'll be right beside you, I whispered. Guess you changed sides before that happened? Bitter laugh escaped me. But it faded fast. I walked into the bathroom, turned on the light, and faced the mirror. My eyes looked older, hollowed out. The man staring back didn't look broken. He looked dangerous. You can't destroy me, I told my reflection. My voice was steady now. Not forever. For a second, I almost believed it. Then I turned off the light. The darkness felt honest. The car smelled like cold coffee and broken pride. My back ached from sleeping in the driver's seat again. Morning sunlight cut through the windshield, turning the dust into glitter I didn't deserve. I checked my wallet, $5. That was my empire now. A knock startled me. I looked up and saw Maya peering through the window, holding 2 paper cups. "You look like death," she said as I opened the door. "I feel worse," I muttered. "How'd you find me?" "You're not exactly hiding. You park in the same spot every night." She handed me coffee. Black, no sugar. "You're welcome." I took it, the warmth biting against my cold fingers. "Thanks." "You've been avoiding everyone," she said. "Grant told me you walked out of the settlement meeting." I wasn't in the mood to celebrate losing everything. She leaned against the car. "You can't live like this, Ethan. Can't live any other way right now," Maya sighed. "So this is it? You just give up?" I stared at the rising sun. "You ever watch something burn and realize it's your fault?" She crossed her arms. "No. But I've watched people rebuild." Her tone made me look at her. "Rebuild what? My company's gone? Damien owns it. Lena's probably sitting in his office right now, smiling." Maya's eyes softened. "You don't know that." "I don't need to. I can see it." She stepped closer. "Then stop watching. Do something." Let out a dry laugh. "Like what? Code from my car? Pitch ideas to the steering wheel?" She didn't flinch. Maybe you start over under a new name. Build something better." I stared at her. "You're serious?" "Dead serious," she said. "You're the best developer I've ever met. You just forgot it." "I didn't forget," I said. "I just stopped believing it mattered." She grabbed my coffee cup and set it down. "Then start believing again. You don't need an office or investors. Just a laptop and a reason. I don't even have Wi-Fi." "I do," she said, smirking, "and a spare couch. You can crash at my place until you figure it out." I hesitated. "Maya, I can't." "You can," she interrupted. "Or you can keep sleeping in your car and pretending this is noble suffering." I looked at the empty passenger seat, at the ghost of my old life sitting there. "You really think I can come back from this?" "I don't think," she said. "I know." Something in her voice cracked through the fog in my head. I nodded slowly. "Okay, but just until I find my footing." "Sure," she said, smiling faintly. "Whatever helps your pride sleep at night." Her apartment was small but warm. She cleared space on the dining table and dropped her laptop in front of me. "Freelance platforms," she said. "You code. I handle clients. We split profits." "You're serious about this?" I asked. "You have a better plan?" One didn't. So I started typing. Hours passed. The hum of keys filled the silence. For the first time in months, I felt purpose crawling back under my skin. Maya peeked over my shoulder. "Still fast," she said. "Still desperate," I replied. "Same thing, really." She grinned. We worked through the night. By dawn, we had our first prototype ready, a security plugin. Nothing fancy, but it worked. "Not bad for a guy living in his car," she said. I leaned back, exhausted but alive. "You think people will buy this?" "People buy trust," she said. "You just need to earn it again." Her words hit harder than she knew. I stared at the code on the screen lines of logic, clean and silent. Unlike people, code didn't lie. Weeks passed. Small projects trickled in. We earned enough to eat, then enough to breathe. I started feeling human again. Sometimes I'd catch Maya watching me when she thought I wasn't looking. There was kindness in her eyes when I didn't deserve. "One night," she said, "You know, I never understood why you let her break you." I didn't look up from the screen, because I loved her more than myself. And now, I smiled faintly. Now I'm learning to love the silence she left behind. She nodded. "Good. Just don't let silence turn into loneliness." I met her eyes for a moment, then looked away. "Don't worry. I'm done falling."
Allies?
She laughed softly. "I'll believe that when you stop looking like a man haunted by ghosts." "I'm not haunted," I said. "I'm just rebuilding." Maya tilted her head. "Under a new name?" "Yeah," I said quietly. Novatech. Her eyes widened. "Sounds like a rebirth." "That's what it is," I said. "Love once ruined me. Ambition will save me." I adjusted the tie for the first time in 3 years. The silk felt strange against my neck, almost foreign. Feels like armor, I muttered, staring at the mirror. Maya chuckled. You've earned it. Don't flinch now. I won't, I said. My reflection didn't look like the broken man I used to be. Calm, colder, smarter. Someone who had learned patience in silence. The office was quiet. Novatech hummed softly our servers, our systems, our secret. No one knew I was behind it. Not a soul. The phone rang. I picked it up. Hello? Ethan. The voice was hesitant. Noah Reed. I need to meet. Noah. I raised an eyebrow. What's wrong? Damien's out of control. He's destroying projects, lying to investors. I can't work there anymore. I leaned back. So you want in? Be careful. I'm not hiring friends, I'm hiring people who get results. He swallowed. I get results. I know Vale's secrets. I can help you. I studied him for a long moment. Fine, but one wrong move and you're done. I understand. Later, I bought my first suit. I walked into a store and picked the darkest fabric. The salesman smiled. First suit. Feels like armor, I repeated. He laughed politely. I paid and left. Back at the office, I laid the suit on the chair. Ready for the world, I muttered. Maya peeked over my shoulder. You sound like you're about to conquer a kingdom. Maybe I am. Kingdoms fall, Ethan. Don't forget that. Some fall. Others rise silently. Noah started that afternoon. So you really own all this? He asked, gesturing at the servers and screens. I nodded. From the ground up? Under a new name? Under my rules? Impressive. Vale won't see this coming. That's the point, I said. Days passed. Small projects turned into contracts. Contracts into headlines. Ethan, look at this, Maya said. Sliding a tablet across the desk, I read the title, Novatech Outpaces Vale Industries in Innovation. I smiled. A cold, quiet smile. So, Lena's world is about to crumble. Careful, Maya warned. You're getting too comfortable thinking about her. I'm not thinking about her, I said. I'm thinking about the match in my hand. She just doesn't know I lit it.
Ow.
Noah grinned. You're enjoying this too much. Enjoying what? I asked innocently, seeing Vale fail. Seeing them sweat. Call it justice, I said. The phone rang again. Damien. I didn't answer. He left a message, voice clipped. Ethan, I don't know who you are, but stop interfering. I laughed quietly. Too late. Noah watched me. You've changed, man. This isn't the Ethan I knew. Good, I said. I'm not the Ethan who let people take what he loved. I'm the one who makes them regret it. Maya frowned. And Lena. Don't forget she's still out there, thriving under him. Lean back. Let her thrive. I'm not her concern anymore. She's a spectator now. The stakes are mine. Noah shook his head. Spectators don't get to win wars. I smiled faintly. Sometimes the spectators are the ones holding the map. Later that evening, I walked past the glass walls of Vale Industries from a distance. Damien's lights burned bright. Lena's window glowed like a prize just out of reach. I whispered to myself, soon they'll understand what they lost. Maya leaned against my doorframe. You've come a long way from the car, Ethan. I know, I said, buttoning my new suit. And I've got 3 years of silent work to show for it. Then show them. I walked past the servers, past the screens, past my own reflection. Called, calculating. Let the empire rise, I muttered, and let them wonder who's behind it. I smirked at the thought of Lena reading this headline, clueless. Perfect timing, I whispered. She doesn't even know who's holding the match. I stepped into the gala, adjusting my cufflinks. The room sparkled with wealth and ambition, but none of it touched me. I had my own empire now, quiet and lethal, and then I saw her, radiant in red. Her arm linked with Damien Vale. My chest tightened. Ethan, she said, freezing when she heard my voice. I didn't answer immediately. I let the silence stretch. The storm of emotions, anger, pride, temptation rolled through me. But I forced my face into calm. She took a small step back. You look different. So does loyalty, I said, voice steady. Her eyes narrowed. I didn't expect you didn't expect me to be here, I asked, tilting my head. Damien's laugh echoed. Well. Ethan Cole, the little man trying to sneak into the lion's den. I ignored him. Still calling yourself a lion? I asked. Funny how the king of the jungle falls asleep while someone else rules the territory, he sneered. You think you're clever now? I know I am, I said softly. And that's the difference. Lena's gaze flickered. This isn't you. You're angry. I'm not angry, I said. I'm focused. You're vengeful, she spat, taking a step closer. After everything we had, after everything you threw away, I interrupted. You replaced me. You replaced everything I believed in with him. She swallowed hard. It's not like that, it is, I said. And you can deny it all you want, but the truth is obvious. Damien laughed, leaning closer to her. Ignore him. He's nothing now. Nothing? I said, smiling faintly. I'm not nothing. I'm the reason your empire is trembling under the surface. Stop, Lena whispered. I'm the largest silent shareholder, I said, watching her reaction. Every failing contract, every shaken investor, they don't know it's me behind it. You don't either. Her face went pale. You? I didn't come here to fight, Lena, I said. I came here to remind you that some people don't disappear quietly. Some people rebuild quietly. She shook her head. This isn't fair. Fair, I repeated. Fair left, when you decided comfort mattered more than love. Damien finally stepped forward. Do you think money can buy respect, Ethan? You're still a joke. I leaned closer, voice icy. Respect isn't bought. It's earned. And you just earned your first lesson in humility. Lena's hand trembled on Damien's arm. Ethan, I'm done waiting for apologies, I said. I'm done being her victim. That chapter is closed. Maya's voice came softly behind me. Are you still in love with her? I turned slightly toward her, the question piercing. My lips curved faintly. I'm in love with justice, I whispered. Lena's gaze lingered, searching for a trace of the man she once knew. She wouldn't find him tonight. Damien frowned. What did you say? Nothing, I said calmly. Nothing you'll ever understand. I glanced around the gala, seeing familiar faces, but none of them mattered. The chandeliers, the champagne, the applause, it was all background noise to the quiet satisfaction. Humming beneath my skin, Lena's red dress was a bright signal in the crowd. But I saw her for what she was. Now beautiful, yes, but irrelevant. She stepped back. Ethan, goodbye, Lena, I said, voice low, precise. Remember, some fires burn without being seen. She didn't reply. Damien's smirk faltered. I could feel the shift in the room. I wasn't just a former lover or a failed coder, I was something else entirely. Maya nudged my arm. Ready to leave? I nodded. Yeah. Let them enjoy their illusions. As I walked away, I whispered under my breath, some people rebuild silently. And tonight, I've just started. Noah leaned over the desk, pointing at the spreadsheet. Damien's investors are already nervous. We just triggered the first domino. I sipped my coffee. Good. Let them panic quietly. No one should see the strings being pulled. You're enjoying this too much, Noah said, smirking. I'm not enjoying it, I said. I'm observing results. Ava Vale, I answered cautiously. Ethan. Her voice was calm, controlled. I think I need your help. You're Damien's sister, I said slowly. Why now? He betrayed me, she admitted. Took my shares, shut me out of projects. I can't trust him anymore. I leaned back. So you want in on the other side? Yes, she said. And I want him to see that I'm not powerless. I studied her tone. You'll have to follow my rules. No exceptions. Understand, she said. I just want a way out, I exhaled. Fine. But this is more than escape it strategy. The next week was a flurry of quiet chaos. Noah pushed the contract delays, I instructed. Already done, he replied. Vale's clients are starting to complain. Could leak the financial discrepancies next, I said, watching his face. He raised an eyebrow. You're turning the screws fast. Patience isn't my tool anymore. Efficiency is, I said. Ava met me after one of our secret meetings. How much damage do you intend to cause? Enough to make them feel the consequences of their greed, I said. She frowned. And Lena? You've been targeting her too. I haven't touched her directly, I said. But she's already shaken. Wealth doesn't equal happiness. She's trapped in his world. Ava's eyes softened. You pity her? I do, I admitted. And part of me wants her to understand the pain she caused me. You're mixing emotions with strategy, she said cautiously. Maybe, I said, but understanding is part of karma. And karma doesn't rush, it waits. Later, Maya texted, Dinner tonight? I hesitated, then replied yes. At the small table, she looked at me. You're getting colder every day. I'm getting sharper, I corrected. Cold is a luxury I can't afford. She studied me. I don't think Lena realizes how trapped she is. She's living with Damien, but she's miserable. I know, I said quietly. And that's the hard part. Part of me wants to feel satisfaction. The other part, I pity her. Can't let pity slow you down, Maya said. You've built too much to stop now. I won't stop, I promised. Every misstep they make is proof of what they lost. She reached across the table. Don't forget yourself in this. I looked at her hand, then away. I haven't. I'm watching, learning, controlling. That's enough for me. The evening ended with a call from Ava. Ethan, one of Damien's biggest clients, just pulled out. They're asking for audits. He's panicking. Good, I said, smiling faintly. Let the pieces fall quietly. He's going to notice me soon, she said. Let him, I said. Fear is a teacher. Let him learn every lesson. We hung up. The apartment felt smaller somehow, filled with the quiet hum of servers. The soft glow of screens tracking every failing contract, every pooled investment. I poured another cup of coffee and stared out the window. The city lights blurred in the rain. Somewhere out there, Damien fumed. Somewhere else, Lena smiled at the life she thought she controlled. And somewhere deep in me, a strange calm settled. Part pity, part satisfaction, all strategy. I whispered into the quiet room. Karma doesn't rush, it waits. Noah popped his head in. Planning the next move? Always, I said. Patience is a tool, but action wins the game. He nodded. I like this version of you better. Don't get used to it, I said. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be unstoppable. The rain pattered on the window again, steady and relentless. Like the truth I was weaving behind the scenes, and I smiled faintly. Let them watch. Let them panic. Let them fall. All in due time. The headlines hit my phone first. Damien Vale. Scandal. Fraud. Collapse. I didn't smile. Not yet, Ethan. Maya's voice came softly. You saw this? I did, I said quietly, scrolling through the articles. Damien's empire unraveling was no surprise. It was inevitable. She leaned over my shoulder. And Lena? I hesitated. A picture of her flooded every tabloid. Mascara running, lips pressed tight, tears in her eyes. The same girl who once laughed at my side now looked like she'd aged a decade in a night. I trailed off. She's alive. That's all, Maya frowned. Alive? She's devastated, and deservedly so, Aliyah. I didn't. I leaned back, letting the weight settle. Satisfaction curled quietly beneath my ribs, but sorrow lingered just above it. The phone rang. Lena, I stared at it, thumb hovering. She wanted an apology, a lifeline, a chance. I let it ring. She left a message, voice trembling. Ethan, please. I didn't know how to. I pressed ignore. You should answer her. Maya said softly. I don't want to, I replied. I never wanted to destroy her. I wanted her to stop destroying others, Stop taking what she didn't earn. Maya nodded. And now? Now, I said slowly, I've won. Damien is crumbling. Her world is shaken. But my voice caught. It feels hollow. Because it isn't revenge, she whispered. Maybe it's something else. I stared at the headlines. Damien's smug face replaced by outrage. Lena's tears replacing smiles. The world thought it was justice. I thought it was silence. I should be ecstatic, I admitted. But every headline, every whisper of scandal, it doesn't fill the emptiness.
Oh.
Maya touched my arm. Maybe victory isn't revenge, Ethan. Maybe it's peace. I closed my eyes, letting her words settle. Peace. The word sounded foreign, like something I'd lost long ago and only glimpsed through the storm of my ambition. I wanted to protect people from them, I murmured. From their arrogance, their greed. I didn't want to hurt Lena. I didn't want to hurt anyone else. You didn't, Maya said gently. You just reminded them consequences exist. You reminded them what happens when they underestimate someone they think is broken. I opened my eyes, staring at the mess of headlines on my screen. Damien's company filing bankruptcy, investors withdrawing, Lena's name attached to every failing venture. She was trapped in her own gilded cage. I guess it worked, I said quietly. But why doesn't it feel like winning? Because winning isn't just about them, Maya said. It's about you too. I looked at her, searching her eyes for the answer. I don't feel victorious. I feel empty. Like the battle ended, but the war inside me didn't. You'll fill it, she said softly. Not with revenge. Not with anger. With something better. You'll see. I let her words wash over me. The night outside was quiet. The chaos in Damien's world roared silently across every screen. I pressed the phone off. No more calls from Lena. No more messages. Silence. Maya watched me carefully. So what now? I took a slow breath, letting the tension leave my shoulders. Now I rebuild. Not to hurt anyone. Not for revenge. But to make sure no one else falls victim to people like them, she nodded, smiling faintly. That's the Ethan I know. The one worth following. I allowed a small smile, one that didn't reach my eyes yet. I hope so. For my own sake, maybe more than anyone else's. The rain tapped against the window. Soft, steady, cleansing. Outside, the city slept. Unaware of the empire I'd dismantled and the lessons delivered in shadows, Maya's voice broke the quiet. Ethan, yes, I replied. Do you think you'll ever forgive her? I shook my head slowly. I don't need to. I'm not in love anymore with her. She waited. I'm in love with justice, I whispered. The words hung in the room. Heavy, but final. And for the first time in years, I felt the faintest hint of calm. The knock on my office door was tentative. Polite. Come in, I said, my voice steady. Lena stepped inside. She was thinner, softer somehow, her shoulders slumped. The confident smile she once wore was gone, placed by a fragile weight I hadn't seen before. Ethan, she started, voice trembling. I gestured to the chair. Sit. She hesitated, then sank into it. I needed to see you, I figured, I said calmly, folding my hands on the desk. Her eyes searched mine. You were the one, Ethan. I was just too blind. I didn't answer immediately. The words hit, but they didn't pierce me the way they used to. My chest ached with memory, not desire. Too blind. I asked quietly. Too blind to what? To you, she whispered, tears forming. To us. To everything we could have had. I studied her face. The high cheekbones, the familiar curve of her lips, the trembling hands. It was her, but not all of her. Not the Lena who loved me. Not the Lena who laughed beside me during endless nights of coding. I didn't lose you, I said slowly, because you chose him. Her brow furrowed. Then why? You lost me because I stopped waiting, I said. I stopped waiting for your apology, for your acknowledgement of what you took. Waiting doesn't fix anything, Lena. It just delays reality. Her lips quivered. Ethan, I know, I interrupted softly. Don't try to rewrite history. Don't dress regret as love now. That time passed. She looked down, tracing the edge of the desk with her finger. I remember the nights you stayed up coding. I remember the laughter we shared, the plans we made, and I threw it all away. I felt a pang, a sharp memory of the girl I once trusted. And now you're asking me to feel sorry for you? To forgive and forget? I don't want forgiveness, she said, voice barely audible. I just needed you to know I was blind and I was wrong. I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence stretch. Her apology was a fragile thing, but it wasn't enough. You're not here to apologize for love, I said. You're here to ease your guilt. That's not my burden anymore. Tears spilled down her cheeks. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I didn't mean to hurt you, I said softly. But meaning doesn't undo consequence. Her hands shook. Do you hate me? No, I said firmly. I don't hate you. I just stopped waiting. Stopped hoping. And in that moment, I found myself again.
Ouch.
She swallowed hard. And him? Damien. I asked. He fell exactly as he should. But this isn't about revenge. It's about knowing who I am and what I'll accept. Lena's gaze flickered. You've changed. I have, I said calmly. I'm not the man who let his world crumble because of someone else's choices. I'm the man who rebuilt it quietly, patiently, without waiting for apologies that might never come. Her tears did not move me anymore. They reminded me of who I used to be, the vulnerable, open-hearted version of me who loved too icily, who forgave too quickly. That man was gone. She faltered. I wish I could take it back. Then you would have needed 2 years ago, I said. Now, taking it back won't matter. The choice has been made, and the consequences lived. She sat in silence for a long moment. The room felt heavy with unspoken regrets, the ghosts of what we were. Finally, she whispered, I'm sorry, Ethan. I nodded slowly. I hear you, but I am not waiting anymore. That chapter is closed. You can carry your regrets. I carry my life. She rose, trembling. I understand. Good, I said quietly. Now go. She lingered at the door, hesitant, searching for a trace of the man she once knew. There was nothing left to find. I watched her leave. The office felt emptier, lighter. For the first time in years, I breathed without expectation, without longing, without waiting. I whispered to the empty room. You didn't lose me because you chose him. You lost me because I stopped waiting for your apology. With that, the past stayed behind the door. The elevator doors opened, and I stepped into Vale Industries. The same glass halls, the same polished floors, where Lena once laughed, where she kissed him. My chest tightened briefly, but it wasn't anger. Not any more impressive, Ethan, Mr. Grant said, falling into step beside me. You've come a long way. I had a good teacher, I replied quietly, eyes scanning the familiar corridors. He chuckled. You've also endured what most would crumble under. I nodded. Endurance is underrated. Ryan appeared from a side office, tablet in hand. Congratulations, boss. The acquisition is official. You're now the owner of Vale Industries, officially? I asked officially, he said, smirking. All the paperwork, transfers, approvals, you're the one in charge. I'll let it sink in. Years of struggle, sleepless nights, rebuilding from scratch, planning silently culminating in this moment. Maya appeared at my side. You did it, she whispered. I looked at her, proud but calm. We did it. All of us. Quietly, patiently, without shortcuts. We walked through the halls together. Former employees who once whispered and laughed behind my back now gave forced smiles, polite nods. Some glanced at me, eyes wide, calculating. Ethan, one man said cautiously, welcome back. I smiled faintly. Thank you. It feels good to be here. Maya nudged me softly. The tables have turned, as I said. Not through cruelty, not through vengeance, through endurance. Through refusing to let circumstances define me. We reached the boardroom. The sun streamed through the glass walls, illuminating the room in golden light. I sat at the head of the table, my hand brushing the polished wood. Ryan leaned over. So what's first? I looked around the room, letting the weight of ownership settle over me. We restore order. We build transparency. We make this a place people respect, not fear. Even Damien's old team, Ryan asked. Especially them, I said. People respect those who endure, who rise without tearing others down. Maya smiled. And Lena? I exhaled slowly. She doesn't own this anymore. She never did. This empire was never hers to claim. She nodded. You've truly moved on. I have, I said. Closure doesn't feel like fire. It feels like air steady, breathable, calm. The board members shuffled papers, awaiting guidance while I leaned back in the chair. The silence was comfortable, earned. Ethan, Mr. Grant said, you've done more than acquire a company. You've set a precedent. I glanced at him. The precedent is simple. Endure, rebuild, and never allow others to define your worth. Maya's hand brushed mine lightly. And no bitterness? I shook my head. No bitterness. That's the difference between owning a company and being owned by it. I own Vale Industries now, yes, but it doesn't own me, Ryan grinned. That's a rare perspective for someone sitting at the top. It's the only perspective that matters, I said softly. I've learned that pain doesn't have to create cruelty. It can create clarity. Maya leaned against the window, sunlight catching her hair. And here you are, the man who rebuilt everything quietly. From nothing. Not from nothing, I corrected. From lessons learned. From failures endured. From every mistake that didn't kill me, but taught me patience, focus, and precision. We stood together, looking out over the city through the glass walls. I pictured Lena, Damien, the pastel of it. No anger, no longing. Just perspective. I own the company she sleeps with, I thought. But it doesn't own me. And in that thought, I felt freedom. Sharper and cleaner than any victory I had imagined, Maya touched my shoulder gently. Ready to lead? I nodded. I've been ready. I just needed the courage to wait, to endure, to reclaim what was always mine, not through vengeance, but through patience. The sun caught the edge of the glass halls, gleaming like a promise. I'm ready, I whispered. And for the first time in years, I meant it. Peace, not revenge. The streets were quiet when I arrived. The small firm's office looked ordinary, unassuming. No glass towers, no glittering lights, just a simple building. A place where work mattered more than appearances. I stepped inside. Lena looked up, startled. Her hair was tied back simply, her expression calm but wary. Ethan, she asked softly. I offered a faint smile. Hello, Lena. She stood slowly. I wasn't expecting. I'm not here for drama, I interrupted gently. I just wanted to see you. One last time. Her eyes searched mine. Why? I shrugged. Closure, maybe? Or maybe curiosity. To see how the pieces fall when ego and ambition aren't in the way? She nodded, uncertain. Sit. I did, and we settled across from each other in the modest office. The room smelled faintly of coffee and paper. Ordinary, human, real. I hear you've been doing well, I said, glancing at a stack of papers on her desk. She smiled faintly, quietly. Not like before. Not like him. Nodded. Good. It suits you. There was a pause, heavy but not uncomfortable. I need to ask, she said finally, her voice fragile. Do you hate me? I leaned back in the chair, letting the sunlight through the blinds catch my eyes. No, I said softly. I don't hate you. She blinked. Then why did you do all that? Take everything. I smiled faintly. I didn't do it to hurt you. I did it to prove something to myself. To endure, to rebuild, to become stronger. You just happened to be part of the story. Her lips trembled. And forgive me? I shook my head gently. Forgiveness isn't necessary. You weren't the enemy. You were part of the lesson. Her gaze fell. I was selfish. Blind. I know, I said calmly. And you learned what you had too. I learned what I had too. That's enough. She looked at me for a long moment, as if searching for the boy I once was, the man she once loved. She wouldn't find him. You've changed, she whispered. I have, I admitted. I'm quieter now, but stronger. I learned that real power isn't in tearing others down. It's in rising beyond the reach of their mistakes. She sighed. I wish I'd seen it before. I know, I said softly. But wishing doesn't change the past. Learning does. And I did. Silence settled over us, comfortable this time. No tension, no desire, no anger. Just two people who had once collided violently in life, now existing briefly in shared understanding. Do you regret anything? She asked. Not a thing, I said firmly. Every moment, every mistake, every heartbreak, they all led me here. To this calm, to this perspective. She nodded, almost smiling. You make it sound easy. It's not, I said. But it's worth it. A moment passed. I stood. She rose as well. I should go, I said. Will I see you again? She asked. I shook my head gently. No, but you don't need to. We've said what needed to be said. She smiled faintly. I thank you, Ethan. No, I said, smiling softly. I thank you. You taught me how to rebuild. We lingered for a heartbeat longer, then I turned toward the door. The sunlight touched the edge of the hallway. My footsteps echoed softly on the floor. I glanced back once. She was still there, quietly watching. Not longing, not regretful. Just herself, living quietly. Finally free of the story we had shared, the streets outside were bright now, the city moving on. I walked forward, steady, unhurried. No bitterness, no desire for revenge. Just clarity. Real revenge isn't destruction. It isn't anger. It isn't chaos. Real revenge is becoming untouchable, becoming something no one can break, something no one can replace. And in that moment, I understood it fully. She replaced me with a CEO, I whispered under my breath, letting the words hang in the sunlight. But I became something no one could replace. And I walked on, free.